For 50 and introverted, that quiet side of you isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. Today I'll share how you can harness it to live with more confidence, energy, and find more fulfillment. So if you're an introvert, I probably don't need to define it for you, but if you know someone who you suspect is an introvert, maybe a child, maybe a spouse, maybe someone you're dating, what exactly is an introvert? An introvert is often misunderstood, but an introvert basically means that you prefer solitude over groups. You prefer one-on-one time, often think before you speak, and groups of people or loud events, those kind of things can drain an introvert's energy, whereas an extrovert normally finds energy in those type of situations. An introvert will find it draining and they need time alone to recharge after those type of events. So according to research, Myers-Briggs, they estimate the American population as, it's pretty wide range here, 25 to 50% of the American population is introverted, while the other half is extroverted. There's also a wide spectrum of introversion and extroversion. Some people, no one is fully introverted and no one is fully extroverted. A lot of people can be in the middle or more towards extrovert, more towards the introvert, more towards the extrovert. And that's normally where people fall. So being an introvert is not the same as being shy. Not to say that there isn't introverts that are also shy, but shyness is something different. Being an introvert is a personality trait. It's how you relate and see the world. And so it has nothing to do with shyness. A lot of people are introverted and they're not shy. Building bridges through listening. Often I have found that introverts are really good listeners because they're not going to interject and give their opinion on something unless they're asked. Now, I can't say that for all people. I can only talk for myself, but normally, I won't give my opinion on something unless somebody says, hey, what's your opinion on this? Then I might give my opinion. Or if it's a good friend that I really know, then maybe I will give my opinion before they're finished telling me what their thoughts are. But most of the time, I can be very empathetic. And that's something that often accompanies introversion. And being a good listener because you're focused on what they're saying, how they're feeling, because you're processing it all internally and you're seeing their feelings, you're hearing their feelings, however you're talking to them, whether online or in person. And you can see that. And that's a good thing because you're relating to them in a way that they probably need in that moment. I think another misconception of introversion is that they don't like people. Introverts don't like people, so just stay away from them because they're not people. They're not people. They don't like people, and it's not true. We do like people, but as you get older, you learn that, hey, I can select the people that I wish to engage with because if I engage with someone that really uplifts me or that I'm really interested in, I do feel energized from that. Whereas if I spend time with someone that is draining my energy, and when you think about spending time with somebody, you think, oh boy, and it's already draining your energy before you're even spending time with them. That's probably a good indication that you're going to feel drained when you're done with them. So it's not a matter that introverts don't like spending time with people. They do like spending time with people, but it's okay to select the people that you want to spend time with. And it's okay to say, hey, I don't want to spend time with this person because they're draining my energy. And then I have to spend, so much time at home or alone so I can recharge my batteries. And that's a big difference with introverts compared to extroverts. Extroverts charge from the external environment, whereas introverts charge from the internal environment. So if the external environment is very draining for us, then we have to go and recharge. And those things all take a lot of not just energy, but time. And I think as we get older, we can become more selective, and it's okay. As an introvert, I know for myself, when I am in a new situation, I immediately size up the room I'm in, size up the people, and I do that all internally, and it's very quick to happen. And I notice everything. I'm very observant, and I notice things that other people don't notice. Like we would leave events and I would say, hey, did you notice this? Oh, I didn't even see that. It's usually an extrovert. And by the way, I love extroverts. I am surrounded by extroverts. In fact, I also remember when I was younger thinking, oh, is there something wrong with me? Because I remember people used to say, older people, older than me, adults used to say to me, cat got your tongue? Or something like that. Or why are you so quiet? And I thought there was something wrong with me. I wasn't shy. If I had something to say, I would say it. But I was probably a unique kid because I was not only an introvert, but I also sensed different, a sensing type of personality or trait that I had. I could walk into a room, walk into a building, and I could sense the energies that were there, whether good or bad. And if they were bad as a child, They didn't frighten me so much as it felt icky. And I remember I telling my mother sometimes, this place feels icky. And I don't think she really understood what I was saying, but I still voiced my opinion on it. So I had like two different things. So I thought, oh, well, I need to just start speaking up more than because that's what was expected of me. And I don't know where that came from, why extroversion became what you should be and introversion was something you shouldn't be when we've got almost half of the population that identifies as an introvert. And as an introvert, you think before you act, which is not a bad thing. That's actually a very good thing. You tend to take things a little more time to process things because you're processing them internally. And maybe that's why group work is fun for extroverts. It's not so much fun for introverts. I hated it. And even at work today, while most of my coworkers are introverts, we still do group work crap. And I don't like it. When I was growing up in school, for instance, our desks in school were lined up one right after another. So there was a little more autonomy. You did your work on your own. Today in schools, a lot of schools, grade school and children are in pods or groups of people where they're facing each other. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. For introverts, though, group work is not really that fun. It can be draining. It can be just something that they don't enjoy because they need a little time to process it, think through it, and it just is a little draining. I remember I don't remember this, but I remember my mother telling me this. Her father, when he began writing with his left hand. And in that day, this would have been back in the late 1800s, he was forced to become a right-hander. And how they did that was they would basically tie his hand, not mean, but tie his left hand, so he was forced to use his right hand. And so they made him a right-hander. Was he truly a right-hander? No. He continued using his right hand throughout his life, but he was a true left-hander because, well, for one, his writing was terrible. He never really got the hang of it because he wasn't using the hand that actually he leaned towards left-handed. And for some reason, at that time, society thought that being right-handed was good and being left-handed was bad. In my family, left-handers are dominant. My mother had 5 children, and 4 of those children, including myself, are left-handers, and she is left-handed. My siblings' children are mostly left-handed, so it really runs very heavily in my family, and it's a good thing. We dominate. And that's always the joke around holidays. It's like the lefties dominate, this family, and almost, I would say the majority of my family, extended family as well, are left-handed. And why that was a bad thing back then, I don't know. There is probably some reason, I don't know. But it just reminds me the same as for extroversion, why that became, it's a good thing, and being an introvert is something weird or something strange and something you shouldn't be. You should try to be extroverted. There was a time in my life when I was younger, maybe in my 30s, where I thought introversion was a bad thing. And so I needed to be extrovert. And so I would force myself to act more extroverted. I would put on a game face, if you will, at work. I would act like I was extroverted. And it would drain me so badly. I would go home and I would just be almost in tears because of the amount of stress it put on me to be that way. Think about it. If you're an extrovert and you try to be an introvert, that's a tough act to do because it's not your nature. So me trying to put on this mask of extroversion was really, really difficult. And so now I'm over 50. I'm 62. So now at my age, I don't care to act like I'm extroverted. I'm not. I am who I am, and I can act how I want. And I look at it like, sure, it's a superpower. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to be who you are. It's a good thing to act what is normal for you, not to act like something you're not. And the only reason I did that is because I was convinced at that time, for some reason, that society expected this of me in my career. So I had to get on with it. I had to be this way. The great people of the past that were spiritual leaders, Gandhi, Muhammad, Jesus, all of the apostles in the New Testament. If you think about those people, they were always off on their own. They always went into the wilderness on their own. That's a very introverted thing to do. They didn't gather around and say, hey, what do you think I should do? They went off on their own and they meditated, they contemplated, they did all of these things alone, which is a very introverted practice and a beautiful practice, because out from those things came miracles and scriptures and things that we have today that we didn't have because of those moments. So it's a powerful thing, and we should embrace our introversion and know that at least half or maybe more of the global population identify as introverts. I think one of the most beautiful things about being over 50 is you stop caring as much about what people think of you. And so you don't have to apologize for how you're wired. You can embrace it. Embrace that aspect of yourself. You need solitude? People will understand or they won't. And if they don't, who cares? I mean, not to be so blunt, but I mean, it's true. If people that know you or don't know you, if you need time to recharge your batteries in solitude or at home or however you recharge your batteries, maybe it's outdoors in nature alone, that's how you recharge. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is a really good thing. It's a powerful thing. So I'll just close with this. I feel like the quieter part of you is your greatest power. For years, maybe you were told that you should be outgoing. Maybe you weren't told that, but it was implied. And when you're over 50, it isn't a limitation. It's a superpower waiting to be unleashed. So today, more than ever, it's time to let go of what society thinks about being it. Be yourself. If you're an introvert, embrace it, because it's really a good thing. And you'll find more energy and more peace when you're being yourself and not trying to be something that you're not, because it's never going to work. If you're an introvert, you can try to be an extrovert. I did it, but it didn't really work. And it drained me. It drained my energy. I wasted probably 4 years doing that. Over 60, or even if you're younger and you're trying to play into that, trying to be something you're not, be yourself and people will like you. And if they don't like you, then it's more about them than it is about you. And that's what I have found in my life. So I want to thank you for stopping by today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Share if you will. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.